I think you guys are going to like this one. Donald Trump and everybody around him are denying knowing this guy, Lev Parnas, and they're all ending up in pictures with Lev Parnas that are leaking. Very quickly, the name Lev Parnas has become a pretty important name in the Trump-Ukraine fiasco. Not yet a household name, but maybe soon. I'll remind you the sort of chain of command. Donald Trump hired Rudy Giuliani as his personal attorney. One of the things that Rudy Giuliani did was get Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, quote, out of the way for Donald Trump. That's the way Rudy put it when he was interviewed recently. And the way that Rudy Giuliani partially got Marie Yovanovitch out of the way was with the help of two henchmen, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. Both have since been indicted. Fruman is not visibly cooperating. Lev Parnas visibly very much cooperating with documents and files and recordings and all sorts of stuff. And for a while, Republicans have been saying, we don't know the guy. We have no idea who this guy is. More recently, documents revealed that Lev Parnas was involved in putting physical surveillance on Marie Yovanovitch in Ukraine. He did an interview with Rachel Maddow saying everyone around Trump knew what it was that was going on. Pence, everybody knew. It was also confirmed, as I told you last week, that despite Devin Nunes's denials, Lev Parnas and Devin Nunes did communicate by phone. Devin Nunes miraculously remembering that last week as Lev Parnas released documents. So now everybody around Trump is panicked and they're immediately scrambling to say, Lev Parnas, no, I don't know the guy. No idea who you're talking about. So let's go through it step by step and dig into the brazen and bold nature of the lies that they are telling you. Here's Donald Trump himself saying, I don't know the guy.
Thank you. Good question.
Mr. President, what is your response to Lev Parnas, who says that your efforts in Ukraine were all about 2020? You just wanted Joe Biden out. What's your response?
Well, I don't know him. I don't know Parnas, other than I guess I had pictures taken, which I do with thousands of people, including people today that I didn't meet, but just met him.
And as Trump mentions, yes, there are pictures. Here is a picture of Donald Trump with Lev Parnas back in 2014. And as Donald Trump says, this is not proof that anything more than a picture with a random person was taken. But it's a little different than, oh, do you know this body shop owner in Missoula? No? Well, here's a picture of you with him when you went to a rally in Missoula. Okay, yeah, well, I met him when swinging through. Because it just so happens that we have another picture with Trump and Parnas with Ivanka, and Parnas with Jared Kushner, and Parnas with Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway, and Parnas with Vice President Mike Pence, and Parnas with Donald Trump Jr., and Parnas with Eric Trump, and on and on and on. But there's even more, because it's not just Trump in multiple pictures with Lev Parnas. Trump said it's okay for his own personal lawyer to represent Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. Here is an email which we now have, where Donald Trump's lawyer, Jay Sekulow, writes to another Trump lawyer, John Dowd, and says, I spoke to Trump. It's okay for you to represent Parnas and Fruman. Trump pictured, okay, with shared representation, but doesn't know the guy. And of course, Parnas was all over the Trump administration. Here's another picture with Donald Trump and another picture with Parnas. I think you get the idea. Kellyanne Conway then went on CNN and insisted she doesn't know the guy either.
At what Lev Parnas says and what the documents show and what the president asked
I don't know Lev
in the
Parnas.
summary, well, the president does, and not say that he did this
these documents what he wrote in a hotel?
Note that Cuomo was talking about what Lev Parnas said, not whether Kellyanne Conway knows him. And she says, I don't know him. And here is a picture of Kellyanne with Lev Parnas. Vice President Mike Pence issuing a similar denial, saying, I don't know the guy. Of course, there are pictures of them together as well. But the real point with Pence is that Lev Parnas is alleging that Pence knew what was being done in Ukraine. And whether Mike Pence does or doesn't know Lev Parnas is not relevant to whether Mike Pence knew what was being done with Ukraine. And of course, every indication, every allegation is that he did. One more cherry on top here. There's been this very corrupt relationship between Donald Trump and a woman named Pam Bondi for many years. Pam Bondi's the former Attorney General of Florida, who was starting to investigate Trump University, that total scam, sham, money grab that Donald Trump participated in years ago called Trump University. And Pam Bondi abruptly stopped investigating Trump University, around the same time that Donald Trump donated $25,000 to her campaign for re-election. Pam Bondi, just so happens, has recently joined Donald Trump's defense team. We'll get to more about that later. And here's a picture of her with Lev Parnas. This is the guy who was managing physical surveillance of a sitting U.S. ambassador, and they all know him. So here's the deal. They all know him to some degree. The exact degree is not really important. Lev Parnas is and has been around Trump and the people around him for a while. He has had access. He was doing insane things as a henchman for Donald Trump's lawyer. The idea that Trumpists are excusing a president having his personal lawyer through private investigators put an ambassador under physical surveillance, and they are saying the real problem here is Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Burisma, is extraordinarily disturbing. Now, last sort of word of caution here. The left has to be careful about accepting everything Lev Parnas says as if it's true. Lev Parnas appears to be a crook who did a lot of dirty work for Republicans. He's now in huge trouble. He's coming out. He's telling the truth. He's copping to tons of misdeeds, and we'll accept it with a skeptical eye. It's similar to when Michael Cohen turned on Donald Trump, and all of a sudden there were people on the left who said, this guy, everything he's saying can be trusted 100%. No, he's in huge trouble. And to some degree, he probably realizes the error of his ways in a sense. But these are individuals who for a very long time, while the going was good, they kept on going with no problem whatsoever. So it's important not to immediately think that a guy with a life of sketchy behavior is suddenly our best friend because his back is up against the wall and he's lawyered up and he's turning on Donald Trump. I'm sure that much of what Lev Parnas is saying is true, but let's not make him into our hero and hang the case against Donald Trump strictly on what Lev Parnas says. This rarely works out well for anybody, including Democrats and the left. We'll continue talking about this on Instagram. Follow me there at david.pakman. Follow the David Pakman Show on Instagram at David Pakman Show. We'll be back right after this short break.